you on Monday, I believe, dropped your wide receiver rankings for the 2022 NFL draft. A good list. I don't think it was one that shocked me much, I won't say, but I kind of expected everybody that you had there. In the eyes of the Steelers, when you look at this list, where does it start where their possibilities begin? Which, for those of you who do not know what the rankings are, you have Garrett Wilson, number 1, Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, number 2, Drake London, number 3, Chris Olave, 5. I missed one somewhere. Who's 4?
London's 4, Jameson Williams.
Oh, Jameson Williams, missed Jameson Williams. Yeah. 5. Then Jonah Dotson out of Penn State at 6. 7 is George Pickens, which that one got me a little bit. Christian Watson at 8. I like that sleeper. I think that you woke me up to him, and I like him too much right now. John Mechie III at 9, and then Skye Moore coming in at 10 out of Western Michigan. Where does the Pittsburgh Steelers line begin on your list of 10?
I think it's got to be probably around that 6 spot. Like, I think Chris Olave would be a really good fit for the Steelers, but I don't know that he makes it to 52. I think the Steelers could pick a receiver as early as the 2nd round. Barring something crazy happening and Juju being retained, like, I think that that's kind of where the conversation starts on when they need to pick a receiver. And a guy like Jahan Dotson, to me, makes a little bit of sense. Like, I think, Dotson's a good separator who is a really polished route runner. He's got excellent hands. He plays way bigger than his size. He can play inside and outside, which is something, the Steelers could potentially use to their advantage, depending on what they want to do with Chase Claypool going forward. So I think it could start there. Christian Watson's another guy. I mean, his stock's so high right now, it seems like everybody's talking about him to where, like, I don't know if he's going to make it to 52. But
I had Watson 4th round in my draft on Tuesday, and by Friday I talked myself out of any possibility of that.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle to get out of the 2nd round. I don't know if he goes top 50, but I mean, 6'4", legit 4.4 speed, and can actually get in and out of his cuts like a smaller guy. It's really intriguing. There's a couple later guys too. I mean, I'm going to shout out my guy Lorenz from Sports Illustrated's Draft Bible. He messaged me a couple months ago and told me about Skye Moore. He said Skye Moore just looks like a Steelers receiver because he's not like overly fast. He's going to end up running. I don't. There's a big debate among draft Twitter if he's fast or not. I don't think he's fast. I think he's like a 4.55 guy. Yeah. But he's always open. I mean, it's really incredible. Like, he is always running by guys, and guys are not within 2 feet of him. But I don't think he's like overly fast. But he's pretty quick, good route runner, really good with the ball in his hands. A guy that I really like, man, and it's absolutely sucks. It kills me that he's not bigger. Is Wando Robinson from Kentucky.
Yeah, that guy, how big is he?
He's literally 5'7". I mean, he's small, man. But he played in Nebraska for a couple years, and they were trying to use him like a little scat back. He goes to Kentucky, and they're still doing the things, to get the ball in his hands, the jet sweeps, the screens. But like, he actually showed that he can get down the field, like out of the slot. And I think he's good, man. I just wish he was a little bit bigger. So I think that's going to hurt his stock. Like, I think he's going to go maybe late day 2, really early day 3. But I think he's a player that, like, you can get him on the field early and, like, he can help you. He's probably not ever going to be more than, like, your 3rd receiver, but he can be a good weapon for you to get touches.
Somewhat of who's the guy that went to Arizona last year? Rhondella Moore?
Yeah.
Remind you of Rhondella Moore?
The only thing is Moore was like freakishly strong for his
true. He still is.
Yeah. And like Robinson's, he looked tiny, but honestly, I think Kentucky listed him at like 5'9". And then I was looking at a draft database that said he was 5'7". And then I started creeping around on Google, and I was like, that kind of looks right. So I don't know. We'll see. We're going to get a good look at, obviously, he's got a combine invite. He'll be in Indianapolis 2 weeks.
Can you tell me how tall I am if you just saw a Google image of me?
No, well, this is me doing research just among like people that would know more than I would. But no, I don't know how tall you are. How tall do you think I am?
I would say you're 5'9".
Taller than Smitty?
Everybody's taller than Smitty. I would say 5'9".
I'm like 5'10.5", so close.
5'10". See, how tall would you think I am? Me and Derrick have never met in person.
5'8". I'm not.
Oh, I am 5'8", 5'7", 5'8" on a good day.
Yeah,
I'm a little short though.
No way taller than Smitty.
Oh, my younger brother's like 6'2" now. I can't even use that anymore. My grandmother's taller than Smitty. Most people are taller than Smitty.
Let me. I do have one thing to say though, just because it's. We'll have one more show before the combine, but I think the receiver that has the most to gain in Indianapolis is George Pickens from Georgia. Like, former 5-star recruit, he played really well as a freshman on a really run heavy. I mean, Georgia's always run heavy. But I think he had like 700 or 800 receiving yards as a freshman, played really well. Him and Derek Stingley had a pretty good matchup their freshman year. And then he got hurt, tore his ACL sophomore year, late in sophomore year. Didn't come back until this year, like almost all the way through the season. They were kind of ramping him up. But, man, like, there's a legit NFL skill set that he could be like a wide receiver 1 in the future, depending on how healthy he is. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's really going to be interesting to see what he runs in the 40. He's not like overly fast, but if he surprised some people and ran, say, like low 4.5s, I think like 4.5 flat would be an excellent time for him. And I think it could get him back in like round 1 conversation.
Yeah, when I read that name, that's when I was like, seems a little low. But at the same time, I do understand, like, he fell off my radar, and I think that's why I had that thought. But I didn't realize that he dealt with so many injuries.
He is like the forgotten man. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. And I think somebody who people are maybe not sleeping on, but putting a little too much on is Justin Ross out of Clemson. I saw a lot of people talking about him in your mentions after you put that out. Thinking maybe he was a little low. I do not consider him a top 10 wide receiver as of right now. A year and a half ago, yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy that, that neck injury that we didn't really know if he was going to play again after he dealt with that. And I just wasn't overly – I mean, Clemson was a disaster on offense this season. I mean, DJ didn't play well. Their offensive line was so bad that, like, it hurt everything else. And I wasn't really as encouraged by what Ross's tape looked like post-injury. Now, Pickens is kind of dealing with some of the same things. Like, there's limited tape on what he is after that injury, and you hope that he can make a full recovery. But, like, the game that really takes me back to what Pickens could be at the next level is the bowl game against Cincinnati 2 years ago. Of course, Cincinnati has Sauce Gardner, one of the best corners in the nation. Yeah. And then Kobe Bryant, the guy that plays across from him, he's like one of my favorite, like, day 2 corners out there. And he played really well against both of those guys. Made a spectacular dive and grab, like 50 yards down the field. I mean, he's got wide receiver 1 potential at the next level. It's just about, is he going to be healthy and what kind of athlete he is after the injury.
All right. So when's the next time you update this, you think? When's the next time you feel like we have a new list? Or do you feel pretty solid this is going to hold through?
I mean, there may be people may jump around like a little, like a spot or two, but I don't know that I'll put something out about updating it. Maybe as we get really close to the draft. The combine for me, the way that I look at like testing and stuff, that's the biggest thing. Measurements, testing for guys that we don't have those numbers on, but I don't really let that dictate a ton in my rankings. I feel like I already know what kind of athlete. Now, if there's something, say Pickens, which he's not going to, but say he came out and ran like a 4.4, I would have to go back to his tape and be like, all right, what am I missing? Because I didn't see that at all. And there's always a dozen of players or so that'll do something at the combine, like people that'll test like freaks, and I'll be like, well, I thought they were just a solid athlete. I didn't think they were that athletic. And then I got to go back and see like where I missed, but. I don't know.
I just picture you in your man cave flipping through the tape. I mean, like, hon, I need an hour. Okay. This guy just ran a 4.3. I did not see him run a 4.3. This does not happen.
That's what I do, man.